Hello,
Yeah.
hello, hello, and thank you all for tuning into A Girl's Guide on Air today. I'm your host, Michelle A. Dowell-Vest, and this is a live hangout brought to you in partnership with Tagg Magazine and A Girl's Guide. I want to give a big old shout out and thank you to Ebony Bell, who is the managing editor of and founder of Tagg Magazine. I'm so privileged to work with such vision and talent, and I just want to say thank you, Ebony, for the space that you give. And if you're out there in internet land and you do not have a subscription to Tagg Magazine, P.S. It is one of the very few print magazines that are left for lesbian and queer women, and you can have it sent directly to your home. So go to taggmagazine.com, get a subscription. We need to support the women in our community who are brave enough and who believe in us enough to provide space for our voices and the things that we want to talk about. So get your copy today. And of course, please visit agirlsguide.org. What is A Girl's Guide? I'm so glad that you asked. We amplify and celebrate voices of personal, community, and global activism that create healing, dialogue, and reconciliation. So basically, in a nutshell, if you are out there creating change and making the world a better place, I want to know about it, and I want to hear from you. So hit me up at Michelle at A Girl's Guide. That is AGURLZGUIDE.org. And I also own the only LGBTQIA inclusive podcasting network in existence. And our podcasts range from topics of trans inclusivity to homeschooling queer mommies. Like, we really do have a wide range of topics. So visit backtousradionetwork.com and check us out. And that's back, the number 2, usradionetwork.com. So today we have a treat. We are joined by the director and the cast of the hit new web series that everybody's talking about, and I mean everybody. So Curve, After Ellen, BuzzFeed, Autostraddle, PopCon, Oakland Local, Hot Butch, and of course Tagg Magazine. We were able to score an on-air hangout with Florencia Manovil and her amazing and dynamic and very diverse cast of Dyke Central. So, what's Dyke Central? Dyke Central is an Oakland-based dramedy that centers around 30-something butch roommates, Alex and Gin. The first season sees Alex attempting to sustain her dysfunctional relationship with her girlfriend, Jackie, and in the face of new options and the resurfacing of an old flame. I think this is my favorite storyline. Gin, on the other hand, is a chameleon whose identity changes with every new interest that she has, and she tends to lose herself in her relationships. So, surrounded by a diverse group of friends who guide, challenge, and support them, Alex and Gin struggle to adapt to change and create balance in their lives without losing themselves. But for those of you who have not seen any of the episodes or even the sizzle reel, I do have a treat for you today. We are going to show their sizzle reel that gives a really good understanding of who the cast of Dyke Central is, what the story is about, and really why you should watch it, because it's pretty amazing. So here we go.
Whoops.
How do I do that? I can't hear it. Oh, I think nobody is hearing it. Yeah, they can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Hey, I don't think the audience can hear it either because Cindy
I don't
just.
think so either. Okay. All right. So we're gonna stop. Huh. Well, at least we tried. Sorry about that, guys. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty. However, there are some links that, right, it looks awesome, and I heard it, and that's really what got me so interested in it in the first place. So sorry about that, guys, but how about this? How about we just talk to the crew and the cast and the director live? How about that? So today I have with me Florencia Manovil, who is the writer, producer, and director of Dyke Central. I have Giovannie Espiritu, who plays Gin. I have Comika Ashby, who plays Jackie. LeBlanc, who plays Mario, and Tom Paul, who plays Zack, the therapist. Welcome, everybody. I'm so privileged to talk with you all about this great new web series.
Hey.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.
No, thank you. I'm excited. I was told about this by one of your cast members who's a good friend of mine, and when I checked it out, I was like, oh my God, I love everything about this. So I want to talk with you first, Florencia. You are the writer, the producer, and the director, and this is your baby. You created this. So tell us why it was important for you to tell the stories that you tell in Dyke Central.
Just basic lack of representation, you know. I think that just over the years, you know, people constantly would say, like, you know, whenever you'd watch something that's on mainstream television or movies, we don't really see queers like the Oakland queers, and you know, just like being here, you know, you feel really disassociated, especially, you know, like watching stuff that comes out of LA mostly, and it's just a really, really different world. So yeah, just that it was just the drive is just to represent more of people that are in my community, my friends, my lovers, etc.
Awesome, awesome. So the stories, did they come from your particular group of friends, or just stories that you've heard, or are there people who are really represented in these storylines in your life?
You know, it's always like writing for me. It definitely always has like autobiographical roots, but it's just like chopping up bits and pieces of like your own experiences and experiences of those really close to you, and it's just kind of like a mishmash, you know, and yeah, so it's never just like a clear, oh, this specific storyline is. It's always just kind of like a melding of things, but definitely a lot of the Dyke Central storylines. I mean, especially the stuff that happens to a lot of people, we wanted to include.
Yeah. I know, as a writer myself, I always say, don't piss me off because you'll totally end up in one of my stories.
Totally.
Yeah, I love it.
Now, immediately I was drawn to the series because of its incredible diversity, and like you know, I've kind of lived all over this country, and there are very segmented populations depending upon where you live and what the gay community looks like there, and really that's what's been portrayed on TV, whether it's the LA crowd or the Atlanta crowd or even New York. Like, everything is very different. And as a Bay Area girl myself, raised in, you know, born and raised in Monterey, lived in the Bay Area for a little while, I loved that you really did show the diversity of just the people in our community. Why, and we talked about it a little bit, but tell me why that was so important. Actually, it was important because we don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really why I make films to begin with. I mean, it's important for me to have a female perspective. It's important for me to have a queer perspective. It's important for me to have, you know, I'm Latin American, to just have like bring like perspectives that are not what we see all the time. But in specifically in terms of like showcasing diversity, I think it's really important for people to see more of themselves in media. Like, I've had a lot of people come up to me, you know, over these years being like, thank you so much. I've actually never seen somebody that looks like myself, or that like looks like the people that I date, or, you know, that acts like me, or that does the things that I do. So yeah, so that is, it's diversity in like every way. You know, I think now there's more people of color in television, and I think, you know, people are like, oh, diversity has been like fixed or something, but, you know, it's not just diversity in terms of like ethnicity, but also just like different I know, right? But also just like gender expression. You know, I think it was really important to show what like queerness is versus like the gay lesbian world that we may see, you know, like on the L Word or whatever, you know, where there are like trans people, there are gender queer people, there are gender expansive people, which is a term I learned from Andre.
I like that.
Yeah, and not just that, but also there's like people who, you know, struggle with who have like different lifestyles. You know, an article came out. An interview with me came out recently where I talked about also I wanted to represent like what it is to live this kind of lifestyle that a lot of the people in this community live, which is like you know, creative people who are sort of trying to like hustle to be able to do art and also survive, and you know what that lifestyle is like, and there's kind of a, you know, combination of different kinds of people. So in all of those senses, that's what diversity means to me, not just like one thing. Or yeah.
Awesome. No, it's the first time I've ever seen it on the screen, honestly. So I appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate you taking it a step further to not just be about diversity in race, but diversity in the way that people present themselves, and diversity in the kinds of couples you see, and diversity in you know, just so many ways. So I appreciate that. In an interview that you did recently, you talked about how this project really was growth for you as a writer and a producer and even a director. Can you talk a little bit about that journey? Because I know that you've went through a couple different writers, and then you finally said, no more, I'm just going to do this myself. And tell me how that helped you grow as an artist and as a writer.
Well, when I started this, I just had like fixed ideas of like what my strengths and weaknesses were, and I think, you know, yeah, that's just kind of a trap. So I was coming from a place where for years and years I was like, oh, I'm really good at writing characters, I'm really weak on plot, you know, because I had like just my interest always lies more in the like you know, internal character exploration or whatever. So when I was thinking of doing an episodic, I was like, oh, but I'm so weak on plot, you know, I need somebody else to help me with that, or I need someone else. And at first, you know, I started co-writing with somebody who actually had no writing experience, but in my mind, I still was just like, well, they, you know, watch a lot of, they have like a more mainstream, you know, aesthetic, and like that I need that, you know, it's really important. And I think that a lot of people who were raised female, like really are raised to like, you know, I mean, I just had I had difficulties like feeling confident in my talents, or being like, oh, well, I can develop this skill, you know, that was like a difficult concept. So, but that is a skill that I developed throughout the whole process of writing, and realizing that like actually, you know, nobody else really had that skill. That, you know, it wasn't like, oh, somebody else could just bring that. I needed to just practice and so I did switch writing partners like twice, because I just didn't feel like I was strong enough of a writer to write it alone. And then eventually, I think like towards the end of season 1, I started writing alone, and it actually was a lot easier. And people were like, the readers that give me feedback on the writing, like, were really supportive and said that it was better than the earlier episodes. So anyway.
Just learn to trust yourself and know that you were capable of doing it. Awesome. Yay. So let's talk about the word dyke. Immediately when I posted the article that I wrote about you for Tagg magazine, I got a comment on Twitter from somebody who was like, wait a minute, I thought we can't use this word, and how is it that you can say it and I can't say it? And within the first 2 episodes, you actually address this, and there is a scene where they're playing Taboo, and one of the characters gets really upset because she's not okay with being called a dyke and won't refer to herself as a dyke. Personally, I love the word. I've used it my entire dyke life. But let's talk about how you take that word head on and really use it for good and not for bad. Kind of like what we've done with queer.
Well, it's tricky, you know. It's a tricky subject because I think here in the Bay Area, you know, we use it a lot, and it's right, like the word queer. It's like we use it, you know. And in many parts of the world, it is used in a like violent way towards people. So I think it was just about kind of, you know, we are showing like a particular world, and in this world, just saying like, well, here, this is what's used. This is what's completely like common and normal. And, you know, Dyke March is like a huge institution, for example, and, you know, it's something that people take pride in. And at the same time, we understand that that's not the case in other places, but it would be maybe disingenuous to just not address that we have there are like different different uses, different ways that people use words, and that part of like language is a part of how like micro communities, you know, develop and what that color takes, you know.
Absolutely. All right, so we are going to now kind of move on to your cast. I'm excited to talk to them because they have some very interesting and dynamic characters that you've written and that they have developed. And so let's talk with Giovannie first. So just a little bit of your credits, Giovannie. You have some primetime credits that include ER, Bones, Gilmore Girls, and Trauma. You're the founder of the San Francisco Actors Workshop. You are you do voiceovers on several video games, and you produce and direct your own projects. So you're basically a badass.
Thank you. And I have like a lot of like the whole, you know, producing and stuff. I have a lot of mentoring from Flo. She's really been awesome about that. She's really all about, you know, helping women, you know, tell their stories, and she's kind of mentored me in that. So thank you, Flo, over there.
And you guys have actually worked together on a couple different projects. You worked together on the first screenplay that you wrote as well, correct? Flo?
Yeah, that's how I met Flo. We worked on Fiona's script.
Well,
Nice, nice. So tell me, how does your role on Dyke Central translate to your real life?
I love Jin because she actually allows me to make out with rock stars and all different kinds of girls, you know. So I'm really thankful, and I think like I don't know, yeah, it's just I get to experiment in so many different ways with Jin. So that's how it translates to my life. And Jin's very loyal. She's very loyal to her friends, and she just wants everybody to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
So what drew you to?
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just love her. Yeah, I just love her a lot.
Awesome.
I get to make out with a couple people.
Besides the makeouts, because those are totally important, but what else drew you to this role?
Other than the reason that Flo asked me to play Jin, I just love that she's a different representation. You know, like I've had people come up to me and say, you know, like I've never seen a character like her on TV, and it makes me feel comfortable with myself. And I don't know, like I was telling Flo this a couple like weeks ago when we were shooting interviews. When I was younger, I used to dress very much like Jin. I used to, you know, be super like baggy clothes, and I was part of a church that was looked down upon that. And I feel like I'm being healed in a way, where it's like, okay, I can freely express who that girl was in this role, which is nice.
Mm. Mm-mm. Awesome, awesome. What about you, Comika? You played Jackie, and you play Jackie Alex's girlfriend.
yeah. Everyone's already laughing.
You are your own character person. I get that. I'm not going to refer you just to as Alex's girlfriend. But you yourself, outside of the show, you're a seasoned actress, writer, and director yourself. You have partnered with Community Works, an organization, a community organization, and helped develop one of their writing programs called Writing on Walls, which deals with storytelling in the digital age. And you're basically out there doing your own thing as well. So back to you playing Alex's girlfriend. I know I'm not the only person that thinks this, but the first time that I'm in the first episode that I'm watching you, I'm thinking, oh, like she's controlling, and she is, she seems a little shallow. Like, where's this going, right? And then I realized by the end of the second episode that Alex really is lying to you, and she's not being genuine in who she is, and she's not being transparent in the relationship. And so then I start to feel for you, right? What drew you to this character? And tell me a little bit more about how you connect with Jackie.
Well, I think it's hilarious that that what anyone says after Jackie comes up is the sound you made, like, oh, I revolt. Everyone's like, oh, Jackie, oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that, but
no, you
that's how it's
do,
written.
and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You do, and it's a good thing because she is that way. Unlike the Jin character, that you can't help but love Jin. She's so fun. She's so alive. She's in touch with herself. Jackie's kind of the opposite. She's so in touch with herself. She doesn't see that the horrible insecurities that are really controlling her drive her to do these crazy things. Now, you are right, she is being lied to, but her responses are, well, they're insane. And it's what happens. No, really, it's what happens when you value a relationship over a relationship with yourself. It happens when you need constant feedback about how pretty, how sexy, everything you are, because you don't feel it inside. So Jackie is completely attached her self-worth to being with the hot, fabulous Alex. And that's what makes her so sad, because as human beings, when we do that, how are we happy? And that's what was really drew me to the character and the way that Flo writes and creates, is that Jackie is, let's put it this way. If you've never been Jackie, you've dated Jackie. And if you've dated Jackie at one point,
Oh God.
you've been Jackie. It happened to everybody. Don't be above it. We all had that little insecurity. Maybe we didn't go as far with it, but it's in there, and it's human, and it's real, and that's why I love the show.
Awesome. So I keep thinking that there's going to be this one episode, and I've only seen 2 because the rest aren't released yet, and we're going to get to how everybody can watch it later. But I'm wondering, like, when you do finally snap, do you snap like in an Annalise kind of way, or do you snap like in a Cookie kind of way? Like, how do you snap? Because you're going to snap.
Flo, do you love it that everyone always like, so when you snap, not in the character. So when this happens. I love it. All I gotta say is you're gonna have to tune in, man.
Great answer. Great answer. Awesome.
You guys are a treat.
Get something. All right, so we're going to. I want to talk to now Tom, who plays Zack the therapist, and I don't know if everybody refers to you as Zack the therapist, but.
We call him Tom the therapist. It's Tom the therapist.
People have been asking me outside of the theater premieres and stuff if I actually am a therapist. And
you played it so well. I wanted to sit on the couch.
I used to be a bartender.
Same thing. Totally same thing. Okay. So a couple of your accolades while you are no stranger to performing. This is your first on-screen performance, but you basically are Bay Area drag king royalty. You have been around the the drag king scene in the Bay Area for a long time, even founded one of the major companies there. And you are also a touring musician, and you play country, folk, bluegrass, Balkan, and Celtic music.
Yep, correct.
So here's what I love about your character. I'm a huge proponent for therapy, and I don't think that we talk about it enough in our community. And I love, Flo, that you have that you built this into the script. I mean, it's super important. And what drew you to this role? Kind of like I'm asking everybody else. I mean, you were a bartender before. Is you connected with being a therapist? Because that's what we do when we bartend.
Yeah, I've done bartending and security and worked in nightclubs and restaurants and stuff my entire life. And so I had a really good friend of mine. One of my musical mentors was actually a child psychologist. And so in a way it was he passed away a few years ago, and so in a way it was a way to sort of connect to that energy and sort of ask myself what he would do in these situations and sort of filter him and who I thought the character was through one lens and see what happened. And I just thought it was interesting. I'd never done anything like this before, and I thought, why not?
Seems like you're having fun so far.
Yeah, so it's a good time. I'm having a good time.
Awesome. So, Andre.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, you're my kind of guy. You love coffee, Belgian beer, and scotch. And could we all have those together? Like, do you do scotch in your coffee? And like, because that would be really good too.
And then you totally could. Totally.
Awesome. Now, do you really have a pet chicken?
I actually have. I believe I'm up to 10 chickens now.
Oh, I'm really envious of you because my running joke is that I really want a pygmy goat, and my wife is not having it at all. So I'm gonna live my life through you in that aspect.
Yeah, no, we have no goats. But please don't mention that. My girlfriend is going to hear and want the goat.
Because they're so cute.
They really are. They're adorable.
Yeah. Well, you're a lifelong activist. Also, you sit on the board of the Transgender Law Center, and you really are an activist for trans and gender non-conforming people. So, how does you play Mario, a really what I like to call an unaffected, non-trusting Castro gay man? You really do play that role very, very well. Your critique of the Long Island iced tea was absolutely perfect. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I've got a few friends that are just like that. So how does playing this character complement your real life, and how does it complement your activism?
Right. How does it complement my real life? Let's see. Well, how does it complement my real life? Well, in terms of activism, in terms of activism, I mean, I think it's great to get to have more exposure of different folks out in media, and I think Mario as a character is really someone who's pretty common, who's kind of a normal guy struggling out there, and I think some of the problems that he deals with depression and anxiety and alcohol are really real, and a lot of people struggle with it, you know, if not out in the open, you know, just kind of personally. So I think in that regard, shining light on that and adding a human element to that versus just kind of like viewing the character as a party boy only, actually getting to see like the human side of him is really powerful and drawing attention to those issues. So in that way, it ties into the activism piece around raising awareness. Yeah, in terms of how it ties into my life, I mean, I love a good cocktail.
That works. Okay, so Florencia, how much of your writing is designed to breaking up or even playing into our community stereotypes? For example, we have Alex and Fabiana who I think were once a couple or once a thing, and then all of a sudden they're roommates. And it kind of touches on all of our best friends are our exes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, and this is something that was pointed out by someone, but, you know, I think that living in what ends up being a very small community, it's like, I think in the straight world, I think people can like date someone and then decide not to date them and then never see them again. And unfortunately, that's not really an option in the queer community. I think that just like you sleep with someone or you date someone and then something goes wrong, whatever, you're going to see them at your friend's show. You're going to see them at like the community gathering in 2 months. Like a year from now, you're going to end up like being involved in a project together, you know. So I think that is just a definitely like an important part. It's not a stereotype, it's just a complete reality. Yeah. And so it also brings you to like really have to deal with like the transformation of relationships in more responsible ways, you know. So that is kind of like a little bit of a topic. Yeah.
Okay. How do you respond to those who say that Dyke Central is the new L word?
It's so different. It's like the opposite of everyone. I mean, I would say, I mean, yeah, it could be the new L word, but with like actual majority people of color and like not lipstick lesbians and not rich people, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it's like a, you know, sometimes funny drama. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess I think it just like speaks to the like hunger and complete lack of, you know, female-led queer series that for us to be, you know, matched up with the L word because there's just like not much else out there, I guess.
Good. Love that answer. Great answer. Because I agree, it's not like the L word. It's very, very different.
Yeah.
So the casual use of cannabis is front and center here in on the series Dyke Central, and I know that Tom, you are a medical cannabis activist. Did that play into making it a part of the cast? Really?
I don't think you can do any kind of even a remotely realistic show about the Bay Area without including marijuana, which is almost another character in the show. Oakland in particular, if you walk around Oakland, any part of Oakland on a nice warm day, it smells like fresh brewed coffee, baking bread, and weed.
It's delicious. Oakland smells
It's fantastic.
delicious.
All
It's
the time.
amazing.
All the time.
It's amazing.
And a lot of people don't realize that in the United States, the medical cannabis movement actually began in the Bay Area. It was started by women and queer activists. The first two dispensaries in California were the WHAM Collective, which is a women's medical marijuana collective in Santa Cruz, and also the ACT UP dispensary, which is still in operation. It's a secret dispensary in the Castro. And they've been providing medical cannabis to AIDS patients for the last almost 30 years. So California is the first state to have medical cannabis also. So it's very prevalent here, and especially in the last probably 5 years, 10 years really, but 5 years in particular, the medical cannabis movement has exploded in California, and we are going through what we call the green rush. And people are moving in the tens of thousands to California to grow, to operate dispensaries, to work in dispensaries, to work in grow operations, to provide safe access to medical cannabis patients of all kinds.
Awesome. We just passed the law here in D.C. to allow not just medical cannabis, but also casual use of cannabis. So I'm really excited. I'm actually going to be working on a podcast series about that whole industry. So I'm excited. And I was really excited to see that it was unabashedly part of the writing and actually part of the cast. And so that was awesome.
Yeah.
So can we talk about, and I think we touched on this a little bit, Florencia, but can we talk about how feminism shows up in Dyke Central? You purposely didn't write overly feminized characters, which I completely appreciate. Have you, tell me why, you know, we kind of talked about it, right? You wanted diversity and representation, and, you know, it was important that you showed, like, real life people, and not everybody is, you know, dressed in, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just want to say that I appreciate that you didn't write those characters, and that we do have the diversity, which is the reason that I think the show is absolutely amazing. Can we talk a little bit, Florencia, about your plans for it? And I know that it's coming up to be released on April 10th, and you are, let's talk a little bit about your distribution channel and how people are going to be able to watch it.
Yeah, so basically we're using Distributor as our, like, sort of aggregator distribution platform, and there's basically people will be able to watch individual episodes, or just like purchase like the package of the full season, and stream, you know, live content. And I think it's very similar, like if you know, when you like purchase something on Amazon to watch, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you know, you could like either get the full season or get one episode, except it's on a like independent platform. And the easiest way for us to do it, because of just like the process, is to direct people through our website. So we're sending everybody to dykecentral.com, where they can just like link directly there, because we won't have the exact link until closer to the date. But yeah, so dykecentral.com, everybody can go there and then like directly link to the to our streaming page. Yeah.
Okay.
On April 10th at midnight.
April 10th at midnight, and then they can binge watch it, right?
They can totally binge watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do now.
And because the pilot episode is, you know, has been on YouTube for a while, we're not going to include the pilot in the packet, but we are going to have like one entire episode that's special features. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. We're finishing that right now. So basically people through there will be able to watch episodes 2 through 10, and then this like whole other episode, which is like a special features with tons of interviews and like behind the scenes footage and that kind of thing.
Can we talk about a little bit about future plans for Dyke Central? Are there some more seasons planned? Are you already writing the next season? What can we expect?
Honestly, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I have lots of ideas, but we are, you know, like in deep debt for the season 1. So until like we recoup the costs, which is what is gonna, you know, hopefully happen, I can't really even think about season 2, because it has to become like economically financially sustainable for us to be able to do it. I can't get into more and more debt. So yeah, that's why, we hope that people are excited to pay for the episodes, because it'll mean that we will be able to do season 2, once we recoup the costs. Yeah.
Right. What do you need from the community right now? How can we support you best?
Definitely spreading the word far and wide. We, being super low budget, we don't have publicists and a marketing team. It's all just within us doing all of the work. So, if people know bloggers or press contacts, definitely write-ups, tweets, Instagram, basically spreading the word as far and wide as possible, so that we get just as many people to watch it. We are excited that a lot of people around the country have been saying that they want to have screening parties, so that's cool. Just basically people getting together to watch it, and the whole season is going to be $25, so you could split it with your friends and binge watch the whole thing. So just taking an active role in promoting the show and in making sure that all of your friends know, and especially for people who have, large followings or people who have press contacts, that is really useful. And and to encourage people to understand how important it is to financially support a show, an independent show, so that we are able to do more seasons. I think that's really important.
Okay. I absolutely agree with you. Okay. How can people connect with you guys? I know we have the website dykecentral.com. How can people connect with all of you? Oh, little doggy.
Hey, Black Bean.
Yay!
Hello, everybody.
He's also a Dyke Central star, Black Bean.
Oh, okay.
Black Bean is a cast member.
Aww. Doggies. How can people connect with all of you?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. We're pretty active on Facebook, facebook.com/Dyke Central. We're on Twitter. Also, the handle is Dyke Central. We're on Instagram, Dyke Central. So, and on YouTube. And on, basically, everybody uses one platform more than the other. So just follow us in whichever platform you prefer. And we generally have our important updates on all of them. So although obviously Instagram gets more photos and Facebook gets more they all have their own flavor, but
Sure.
We're easy to find.
You are. All right, so I'm going to give each one of you just an opportunity to tell everybody out there one thing about you that they cannot find out about you online. You go first, Florencia.
Me?
You. Fun fact about you that people can't find online.
Oh my god. Can't somebody else start first?
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. I was trying to think about what about me is not online because there's so much out there already. But I have 3 tattoos, and I will not tell you where they are.
Why?
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
It's part of the game. Part of the game, people.
But if you watch the episodes, you might be able to see them. Maybe.
Definitely see at least one. Yeah.
Are you in the sexy reel? Which, by the way, that sexy reel was everything. I had to watch it a couple of times, and I kept playing it, and my wife is like, "Are you watching that again?" I'm thinking, this is really hot.
I like that you had to watch it a couple of times for work.
Yeah.
Completely for work.
Oh yeah, no,
research.
That's
For science.
All right, Andre, what about you? One fun fact that people cannot find about you online.
Oh my goodness.
Chicken hoarder.
Chicken
Hey,
hoarder.
That's online.
chicken order.
one thing that's not online, that's tricky. Um, what's not online about me? All right. Here's one thing that's not online.
Okay.
So, I was born and raised in Modesto. I was born into a Mexican family.
Is that online?
Is it? Okay, fine. I was born into a Mexican family in Modesto as a woman. Is
Okay.
that online? And
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Exclusive. That is not online. What else?
Oh wow.
That's pretty much it. Did I give that away? Is that okay to give away?
No, yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, we have like a video coming out soon that is actually like a separate video about where we interviewed our trans actors, Tom and Andre and Sarah Christine. We couldn't get Dilo because he's in LA. And it's basically just about like trans stuff, but Andre talks about that in the video. So
yeah.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing that. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Comika, your turn.
You already know mine.
That they don't.
It's the most she and I were speaking earlier, and it came out that my first childhood crush happened to be Spock. So I'm being outed as a blurred. My first crush died recently. Yes, I was more than a fan.
Aww.
Just let it happen. Yes. Now you all know.
Wait,
Thank you.
Thank you. The heart. There we go.
Thank you. Oh.
You just took the cake with that, Micah.
Nice.
Undercover blurred my whole life. Now everyone knows.
All right, Tom, you're next. Fun fact that we don't know about you online.
I knew about Comika.
Oh. I already told.
That's my fun
we went out
fact.
and had a drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
No. You can't get out of that one.
That's my fun fact. No, shit, I don't know. Everything you could possibly want to know about me is online at this point, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Favorite song to perform?
That's impossible.
Oh, come on, pick one.
It's like asking me which one of my fingers is the best at being a finger. I don't know.
These two. What are you talking about?
Yeah, how do you not know that?
I don't know. Thumbs are pretty awesome.
This is going horribly wrong.
It's getting weird. I knew it would.
All right, Florencia, we're back to you. One fun fact that we can't find out about you online.
That's not online. Okay, the only thing that I can think of just because of like looking around my room. So I'm like an obsessive planner, and like really organized about some things. But I am a total clutter bug. So I have like hard time organizing like things in the physical material world, which everybody knows who is on this because they've been to my house, but I don't think that's online. So anyway, yeah.
Well, now we know you're just human and you're an artist, and that's just how we are. I totally get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we go, any last words any of you want to give? Whether about the series, anything else that you're doing, feel free to share.
Oh, I was gonna tell Flo. So I was talking to a filmmaker friend, and he said that he was really impressed that it's a trailblazing show and that it's really hard to do that these days. So just wanted to give props to Flo for that.
Yay! We're excited. All right, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to hang out with us on Sunday. I know Sunday is such a sacred time, so thank you. And for those of you who had brunch and those of you who are going to have brunch or, have a mimosa or a cocktail, please do so and enjoy it. I just want to say thank you from a Girls Guide and Tagg Magazine for this up close and personal look at you guys. I was really excited to talk with you, and I'm very excited for the series to come out. I'm going to be talking about it, definitely going to be sharing it. So everyone out there, make sure that you tune in April 10th. 10th at midnight to dykecentral.com, where you can start to stream and binge watch the new series. Also, make sure, I mean, it's important that we support what's happening in our community, whether it be magazines or web series or movies or any of our artists that are in our community doing amazing and wonderful things. We have an obligation to support them, and so support the director and the cast and the crew of Dyke Central by subscribing and getting all 10 episodes and telling everybody that you know about it. This is definitely stories that need to be told, and I'm just thankful for all of you for being brave enough to tell them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to say thank you so much for the article that you wrote. It's actually, somebody read it and was like, oh, this person has really watched it and has really put thought into why people should watch Dyke Central. So I really appreciate the article. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell everybody why they should watch it. I come from a sales and marketing background, so I'm always writing from that lens. Like, why do you want to see this? This is why. Everything about it is awesome. Also out there, don't forget to get your subscription to Tagg Magazine, and you can get that at taggmagazine.com. And also check out agirlsguide.org, and that's spelled agurlsguide.org, and backtousradionetwork.com. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at agirlsguide. And I cannot end a show without my motto, and that is that we do not heal in isolation but in community. So let's love on each other a little extra this week. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so